the capitalization rate or the cap rate is the single most important number in multifamily. And essentially the way that the cap rate is calculated is you just figured out the NOI of a property. Let's say it's a property that the net operating income that you calculated was 600K, and the property is a $10 million property, or it's being sold for 10 million bucks. Well, then the cap rate is 600K divided by 10 million, addressed as a percentage. So in that case, the cap rate would be 6%. And we'll talk about why people calculate cap rate and how do they use it to figure out the marketplace. Now, I'm going to teach you more about the cap rate, but here's a video that summarizes it nicely. Now, keep in mind, if you're dialing in using a phone, you might not hear this video, but that's okay. I'm also going to send you the recording of this webinar, and you can just play that back. So the video is about 2 minutes long. Just in case you don't hear audio, just hold on for 2 minutes. We'll be back. All right, let's get started.
One of the most popular tools investors use to determine price and value is the capitalization rate, or commonly referred to as cap rate. In short, the cap rate is the relationship between the annual net operating income, NOI, a property produces, and the price of the property. Let's quickly talk about NOI. The NOI is the income remaining after all taxes, insurance, and operating expenses are paid. Example, a property owner collects all the rents each month and then pays taxes, insurance, and expenses associated with owning the property. The income remaining is the NOI for that month. To determine the cap rate, you use the annual NOI. Now, for example, if the annual NOI of a property is $60,000 and the price of the property is $1 million, the math would look like this. The annual net operating income of $60,000 divided by the $1 million price of the property equals a cap rate of 0.06, so cap rate is 6%. The cap rate can be a personal decision for investors, as it represents their belief of the risk of owning the property. Using the example above, except now we'll use a 7% cap rate. How much will an investor pay? Approximately $857,000. How do we get this? Take the NOI of $60,000 divided by a cap rate of 0.07 and it equals $857,142, rounded to $857,000. Remember, lower cap rate, higher price. Higher cap rate, lower price.
So there are a few things that we learned in that video. One is that cap rate is inversely proportional to price. So a higher cap rate means a lower price, a lower cap rate means a higher price. And the reason that a cap rate is a very effective benchmark towards understanding the value of properties is that everyone understands this in the multifamily market. So when a broker is telling you that Class B properties in so-and-so area are selling at 6 cap, they're doing that math. They've seen other investors do that math. Well, in that area, if it's a 6 cap market, well, you want to try and buy a property at slightly higher than 6 cap, maybe 6.1 or 6.2. If you're doing that, you're doing well in today's market. What you don't want to be doing is buying a property that's 5.8 cap in that market. Now, if the property is much better than other properties in the area, that's fine. Go ahead and buy it at a lower cap rate, but make sure that you are convinced of that. Otherwise, it never makes sense to buy a 10 cap property. So let's say to buy a property for 8 cap in a 9 cap market, because you're overpaying. You're paying over what the market bears. And so understanding that cap rate for a particular market allows you to make effective decisions regarding the approximate offer that you'll make. There's other factors that affect your offer, but the cap rate gives you a good rule of thumb on how much to spend on a particular property in a particular area. Alrighty, let's move on. So here's the example, right? If the purchase price is $10 million, let me go back and get my pen again. There we go. Purchase price is $10 million, and the annual income is 1.3 million. The expense is 500,000. Your NOI is going to be 1.3 million minus 500,000. So your net operating income is 800,000, right? Now notice that your debt service is in here, but we're not putting the debt service in the NOI. We do not use debt service when we calculate cap rates. So we look at this $800,000 number and we say, okay, If this is an 8 cap market, then the broker's looking for me to pay around $10 million. But if this is a 10 cap market, this broker's looking for me to make an offer around 8 million. This helps you decide whether you are in the ballpark when it comes to buying this property. Because keep in mind, if it's an 8 cap market, he's looking for 10 million bucks. He's not going to entertain an offer of 6 million or 7 million, but he might entertain an offer of 9.5 million. So it helps you know if you're in the ballpark to win a particular property or not.